My name is Tom Wilson. I'm going to speak to you today on behalf of LW Theatres, and I'm going to take you through our data journey. Our data journey as a business, we recently, in the last 18 months, have rolled out a new data warehousing platform. And what I want to do is sort of take you through our journey and share some experiences, some key learnings that we found during that process. So yeah, there we are, Data Musical, our radical title given our business model. So I want to start with a brief introduction to myself and the business. As I said, my name is Tom. I'm the data scientist at LW Theatres. I've been with them for about 18 months now. Before that, I was in academia. I did an undergraduate in physics at the University of Surrey before following that up with a PhD at Imperial College. So I spent about 8 years at university and then doing physics academia before segueing into data science, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I joined up with LW Theatres after that. The company themselves, we're a West End-based theatre company. We are owned and managed by the composer Andrew Lloyd Webber, who I'm sure many of you may have heard of. We have 7 theatres in our portfolio, all scattered across London, mostly in the West End, and they range from sort of quite small houses of about 300 seats all the way up to the London Palladium, which is a very prestigious house, which house that has about 2.5 or 2.3 thousand seats in it. And the sort of programming we have ranges quite as well. So you might think we just do musical theatre. We don't. We have a range of concerts and gigs, as well as smaller running showcases. And then that goes all the way up to sort of like very long-running resident musicals, including the Phantom of the Opera, which has been in one of our venues for over 34 years. So we've got a huge wealth of data there from all the shows in our portfolio. So I want to, for a bit of fun, I thought I'd explain the journey using a number of theatre motifs, theatre metaphors. So we're going to start with take you through the typical life cycle of a show. So we start with the curtains up, the show begins, the audience is sort of sat down, ready, waiting for the show to start, and that kind of parallels nicely with our build, our initial phase of build. So I guess the first question was, why, as a business, did we want to do this? Why did we look at building out a data warehousing platform? I think the key thing there was we wanted to put, we always want to put our customers first. Our business is very customer focused. It's about putting the customer center stage. So, and we can do that, and we want to sort of, we want to really improve the customer experience in a number of ways. We can do it through perhaps more accessible pricing of tickets, making sure we maximize the sort of tickets we sell at the right prices for our customers. We have a figure called the revenue per seat in the theatre industry, where we have very much a fixed number of seats we can sell. We have about 7 theatres, each with a fixed capacity. We can't really add to that number unless we do sort of expensive remodeling or unless we buy a theatre. So we have a fixed number of seats, and we want to maximise this revenue per seat. So how do we do that? We might want to sell tickets more effectively, that sort of thing. We don't want to price them too cheaply, otherwise we'll sell the theatres out, but we won't maximise our revenue. But equally, we don't want to make the seats too expensive so people can't access them and we haven't got full theatres. No one wants to play to a half-empty house. So that's kind of the ticket sales side, but also, again, key to customer experiences is being able to target and market to our customers more efficiently. So we want to really use data and drive smarter marketing campaigns through that. And so the business was focused on becoming more data-driven, and so that was kind of the key crux of where we started off from with our data plans. Excuse me. So we had 2 key sources of data that we looked to ingest from the word go. We have our ticketing sales data. Now this is currently part of a live platform that sells tickets, which works really well at doing that. We also have some legacy databases that contain all our old historic data. So there's a huge wealth of information in there that we can use for sort of maybe more advanced analytics, that sort of thing. We also have CRM data from our ticketing platform. We have CRM data from our in-venue Wi-Fi. There's a whole host of data we want to sort of bring together in our data warehouse. And as I've said before, so our ticketing platform is great for selling tickets, but it's not really great for this sort of level of bespoke analytics that we wanted to achieve. So that's kind of where we landed on with our business requirements, our business focus to build out this data warehouse. So at the company, we're actually quite a small data team. At the start, there was nobody really, and then they hired myself in to do the role of a data analyst / data scientist at the time. So it was a very small team. So we partnered with a company called Synopsis, who are actually here today. Their stand is just over here. They're a great bunch of guys. They're really helpful for us, and if you're interested in anything I say today, it's worth having a chat with them about any of your data questions you might have, because they're really good. And we've found working with them really, really, really rewarding, I think. So that's a great thing. That was a great experience for us, And one of the other things I want to do in this talk is to sort of give you some feedback, some experiences, and also some key learnings. And I think from this stage of our project, when we kicked off, one of the things we learned really was about hiring at the start. So I think it was really important for the company to get on board with that, hire a technical head to work within the business, be able to someone who could essentially translate what the developers and the data engineers and the architects suggesting we do in terms of building out the data warehouse, but also understanding what the business wants to see in terms of the figures, the metrics that we want to look at. So I think that was really important. It was important to hire, I think, a broad set of skills at that point. It may have been easy for us just to think, well, let's just hire an analyst who can handle reporting. That's our key focus at this point. But I think they made this decision to hire a broad set of skills, and that was really beneficial because we didn't really know what the platform was going to do, how we were going to evolve going forward. So that was really helpful for us from the word go. So now we've kicked off the project. We've moved into Act 1. This is sort of the hard work of a musical production. The audience are there for the taking. The production has to really grip them and draw them in. So this is kind of parallels nicely with the hard work of our first build phase. So the first thing we approached and did was to choose our technology, and we thought about that very carefully. But in the end, we landed on essentially an Azure stack. So we could leverage SQL Server technology. There are a number of reasons for doing this. We found that with the data sets that we had in the formats and the systems they were currently in, this was the best fit for us in terms of the volume of data as well. We're not a huge volume company, so we found Azure matched really well for those requirements. We also have Microsoft rolled out across the business, so everyone has, as I'm sure everyone does in this room, everyone uses Excel, everyone uses PowerPoint, some people have access to Power BI, these sort of tools. So we found that the Azure stack was great for implementing with all of that. I think in terms of scaling up as well, they had some great scale-up options. We don't do any sort of data streaming implementations right now, but in the future, who knows, maybe we will. So that was really key for us going forward. Oh, sorry. That's kind of what we landed on technology-wise. We then identified the important sort of sets of data we wanted to go after. So like I mentioned at the outset, we had two key sources, really our ticket sales data and our customer CRM. So for the outset, we chose to go with our sales data, focus on getting that ingested, as that's kind of the key crux of how our business operates and runs. And that's where we started. So I've highlighted bullet point 2, test. I've been to a few talks today, and I've heard an awful lot about the importance of testing, and I want to just reiterate that as well as part of our process. Testing was really important for us. It's obvious to think that matching up financial figures and ticket numbers is important, but I think just spending the time to do that and getting the process right really stood us in good stead as a team and enabled us to go to the business with reliable data, with reliable reporting that they would trust. And that's the key thing going forward. We want our business to trust what the data warehouse puts out. And so we sort of structured our testing in three steps. So the first stage we did unit testing, which is basically where our developers who are building the platform would marry up source data with the base tables we designed. So that was a really important first step. We followed that with some business development testing, so that was more of my role. I spent a lot of last year doing that, where as a team we took what the base tables had been designed, and then we sort of compared that with the sort of figures we were expecting to see. Were we calculating our commissions correctly? Were we calculating our net sales values correctly? All of these things, really important for the business to get those right. So that was a really key stage of the process. And then finally, once we were happy with that, once I was happy with that, I built out a few reports in Power BI, I think it was at the outset, and then we sort of shared that amongst the business, and they were able to sort of perform some user acceptance testing at that stage, where they were, the key stakeholders could take a look at it, look at what they were used to consuming, and see how our data matched up. And I mean, and I'd say that process really worked well for us. And I think it stood us in really good stead. And as a result, we didn't really have many data quality issues as a team. We didn't have to deal with many, which I think is a hallmark of how rigorous our testing phase was. I think one of the key learnings from this stage of the project was how difficult reconciling our legacy ticketing data actually was. You might think that ticket sales data is all very similar, and ticket by ticket it kind of is, but when you've got multiple sources, multiple different ticketing systems you're trying to reconcile with, it is really like trying to fit a square plug into a round hole. So I mean, don't underestimate the time taken and the time required really to deal with those problems. And as I reiterate again, it was a great learning process, and the time spent on that testing was really stood us in good stead. So, and what it essentially allowed us to do is, by the end of, I think, 6 to 8 months from the outset, the inception of the project to the end of the first build stage, we were able to roll out automated reporting across our business, which is quite a quick rollout, I think. And what we were able to do with that was replace some of our manual ticketing reports that normally would take 2 or 3 people between, across the week, sort of 10 hours a week. So essentially what we did there is we managed to save the business almost a 6-figure sum at the outset just by sort of replicating and automating these reports, which I think was a real key win for our team. And it's really, it helped to get the business involved with the data from our warehouse. So the next step, moving to the interval here, the curtains come down, everyone's been thwacked by the first phase of the musical, so everyone's gone to the bar, refreshed themselves. It's time to take stock and think about what we've seen, what we've done, and that's exactly what we did at this stage. We get our platform running operationally at this point, take stock, stop developing, and so there isn't really much more to say here except, and I can share a few more learnings I think on this slide with you. So one of the key things that we noticed, or one of the key things that we learned from this phase was that a data platform is always evolving. It continues to evolve. Even when you've stopped building, stopped developing for it, as we did here, it still continues to evolve. So it's really important to keep running your processes. So we set up as an agile team from the outset. We use 2-week sprint sessions to plan our work, regular sprint planning sessions every 2 weeks, we kept an up-to-date backlog of tasks, things we wanted to do, things we planned to do in 6 months, all of these sort of clever things. And so we kept doing that, kept rolling that backlog of tasks. Actually, we used the platform Trello to great effect in this project. That was a really great tool for us. Our project manager, Taylor, was able to really kind of organize and see what work needed to be done, what work each member of our team needed to do, and when they were doing it. So I think that really helped, and that helped keep us focused and keep us on keep the project rolling, really, even though we weren't developing. So the next point really is highlighted in my next bullet, which is just don't slip into being a technology project. I think it's very easy once you're running a technology project just to kind of slip into and become one. It's very easy for the business to sort of, once people know what you can do and what your role is, you can sort of, they can come at you and ask you for things like, well, can I have this data? Can I have this? Can I have this? And it's all too easy as a developer or an engineer to say, oh yeah, sure, I can do that quite quickly. Which you kind of can, but it takes time. It takes time away from what really matters, and that's making sure that you align and address the business use cases, these key questions that the business asked. And I think that's something certainly we as a team were guilty of actually in our project. It was very easy for us to become a technology project, and essentially what happens then? If you become a technology project, you just become another bottom line to the business. You're a cost to the business, and you have to maybe spend more time then going on the defensive, proving what value you bring. And so that's less time for you to spend doing interesting stuff, making sure you're answering the questions that the business want to ask. So it's really important to not slip into that phase. Don't just become a technology project. And one of the things that we did to sort of address this was to sort of try and approach democratizing our data. So I mentioned at the outset that we did some initial reporting with Power BI. Actually, in the end, we settled on Tableau as our main implementation for the reporting platform, which has actually served us really well. We use Tableau. There's a couple of us in the business who are creators on Tableau, and we can build reports. We push that up to a Tableau server, and that's now rolling out across our business. We're democratizing these reports so people can see the sort of figures they want to see, sort of figures they never thought they could see, to be honest, before, and we can roll it out across various teams, whether it's the head office, the box office staff, all of that. So that's like one step to us, trying to democratize our data, make sure we're sort of bringing value to the business. Sorry, let me just... Okay, right. So the next point I think to make here, stepping on from that reporting, is it's really important to get the reporting right. So I think if you've got a data warehouse platform, it's all very easy just to think, there's loads of data in here. Sure, we can do some clever data science, we can do some clustering algorithms, we can do some machine learning on all that. It's very easy to think that, but I think probably the most important thing to settle on and to deal with first is make sure you get your reporting right. The reporting is really crucial. It's probably one of the most important things to a business, at a high level. And I think that's one of the things on this point here. Keep improving what you've got. I made countless numbers of reports across our business for various team members, and they've gone through various revisions. I think it's one of these things. Don't be afraid to keep improving, iterating what you've got. The first stages were good, but they didn't quite have the right information on them. We iterated forward, and now I'm developing reports that have got exactly what different members of our team want to see. For example, our ticketing strategy team might want to see various metrics that our marketing team won't want to see. So it's things like that, and it's all through the development process or the refinement process that we've been able to get to these stages and be able to offer them insight that people really didn't think they could get at before, and it's been able to sort of let them action decision making more quickly, and really just grow the business, and which is what we're all here to do. Final point here, at this stage, so we got through our first stage of building, we actually tried to hire and wanted to add headcount to the team, so we wanted to add a data engineer into the team, and we thought, the answer to that would be quite straightforward, looking for someone here to sort of manage and manage the admin and develop for our data platform. And it wasn't easy at all. We found it incredibly hard. It took us sort of 4 to 6 months, and we still couldn't find the right fit. And I think there's various reasons for that. One of the things being is that we're actually, as I've said before, we're quite a small team. There's only 1 or 2 people in that team, and so this person would have to kind of act very much on their own with minimal support, but still have the knowledge there to be able to manage an Azure platform and develop for various different sources. So that was kind of hard to hire for. And in the end, we searched for many months, couldn't find someone, and and it was really beneficial that in the end we went for a managed service plan actually through Synopsis. Synopsis helped us out with that. They've set us up with this great managed service plan where, and that's worked really well. I mean, we've had great support from them, great support from the engineer they provided for us, and so that's a really great solution. I think one of those things we didn't really consider at the outset. We wanted to add a headcount, that increases the experience in our business, but it wasn't to be at the time. This managed service plan worked really well. Okay, so moving on, Act 2. Now, look, we've refreshed ourselves at the interval, and we're ready to sort of kickstart the next phase of our project in Act 2. So here we were sort of focusing on our CRM data, integrating our CRM data into the marketing platform that we use. So we have, as I mentioned before, a number of sources. We have customer data that comes from our ticketing platform, customer data that might come from the existing integration of our comm system, and also in-venue Wi-Fi. That's one of the key things we have rolled out across all of our venues. So we have a wealth of information from a wealth of different sources, each of them interacting slightly differently. And so what we want to do is we wanted to bring all these sources together into a single place so we can manage them more effectively. And of course, with the GDPR rules coming in last year, I think being able to manage data, especially CRM data like this, in a central place is really crucial, and it's really helped us to improve and to make sure that we are staying GDPR compliant and minimize risks to the business. And also, in addition to doing that, bringing all these things together into one place, we were able to sort of highlight a number of additional marketing leads that we never knew we had, really. I mean, people, when you're just relying on one source, maybe you don't get the full picture of the people you have available to contact, and that was really important for us as a team. And so what we were able to do when we'd done that, we were able to push all these new customers, all these new leads up to our marketing platform, and that was able to enable our marketing team to sort of drive smarter marketing campaigns, which is kind of one of our main goals at the outset. So what we did, and how we did that, there were 2 sort of key steps, key ways in which we enabled them to make these smart decisions. One was to utilize the function of insight data in our comms platform, where we could push up sort of ticket sales data, relevant data to the marketing team, where they can start to build their own marketing segments from scratch without having to sort of go through the data team and get things built specifically. They can sort of query the data, probe it themselves, ask the questions they want of it, and get some segmented results on the fly, really, as they're going. So that was really important for them. It enabled them to have more power, gave them the tools there to do their job better. The second thing we added in was this idea of tagging data fields in the comms platform. So this is kind of taking it a step further. If there's perhaps a more complicated question the business might have asked of us that may have been answered by some complex data science. As an example, I did some customer segmentation work for the business earlier in the year, using using a k-means algorithm based on customers and how they've purchased and transacted. I was able to run this through, work on that, and sort of tag them into 6 segments, six clusters. But the marketing team don't really need to know that. I don't want to know that. So what we did is we were able to tag these customers with a simple tag. Are they in cluster 1, 2, 3, 4? Push it up to the platform, and then they were able to sort of easily design queries around this. So that was great. It's a really easy implementation. It's worked really well. We saw some great improvements on conversion rate just by that simple clustering work we did, and for the marketing team to be able to action that quickly was really helpful. And I think at this stage we're getting to this stage in the rollout now when we sort of address both of our major data sets we wanted to ingest. We were able to sort of take a step back again, refocus on business value. What have we added? What have we done? So there are 3 key areas we identified that we'd really affected our business here. So the first one being minimizing risk and making sure we comply with GDPR. Bringing all our source systems together for CRM, managing it in our data warehouse has done that. We improved the efficiency of our reporting. That was really crucial for us. as well, by rolling out these automated reports across the business. That was very helpful. And finally, we've been able to add value with these, mainly with the addition of these marketing leads. That was a really key result for us. So, just to think about it in sort of number terms, we sort of added a significant number of these people. If you think about the average conversion rate of a user, how many of these are likely to buy from us, and then if they do buy, what's the average price of a ticket, what's the average number of tickets they buy, you're looking at a high six-figure sum of potential value we could add to our business. That's a huge improvement and a key win for our team. And so again, a great success. We've had the project up and running for 18 months. We've managed to roll out these 2 sources. We're really happy where we are, but there's room for more. There's more. The future holds many great surprises. So the encore of our production, of our presentation here, is what we're going to do next and what sort of steps we're going to take to do that. So, as I've said, I'm really proud to have worked on this project. It's been a really great experience for me and I think for the whole team. We were able to we've been able to bring data into the fore, our business, a lot more now, and it's been really nice to be able to get to that stage. And whereas at the start we talked about all these grand ideas about doing sort of data science, using various algorithms to solve complex business problems, and as a scientist background, that really interested me. And now we're at the stage where we can actually start doing that. So we have the data in there, we have everything ready, all the infrastructure's in place. I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into that, perhaps looking at building some more complex forecasting models for our shows, revisiting customer segmentation, dynamic pricing of tickets across the venues, that sort of thing. There's a whole wealth of information there for us as a business. And actually, also crucially as a business, we're changing at the moment. We are going through a broad period of change. We're currently refurbishing one of our major venues, the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. So the Theatre Royal Drury Lane is a major venue in Soho, in the West End. It's currently undergoing a £45 million refurbishment project. And what we're trying to do with it, we're trying to sort of rethink the whole role of a theatre, really, and the role the theatre can play to the customer journey. It's all about making it a destination venue as opposed to just the place you go and see a show. So the idea being with our new venue is it's going to have a whole number of new experiences, so you can go in as a customer during the day maybe and grab a coffee in the coffee shop in the morning. You can go to the shop that's in the theatre that's going to sell merchandise from the production from the company, all that sort of thing. If you're fans of Andrew Lloyd Webber, you can go there and buy his stuff. It's great. And then going forward to the evening, after work, we have a great bar there, a terrace bar, which you can see on the front here. You can go there and have a drink before a show, after work, and also you can go to this new new restaurant facility that we're building into the venue. So you can go there pre-theatre, post-theatre, without a theatre ticket. I've mentioned all these things, and I haven't even mentioned the fact that in the theatre is the show, the big show that's going on. So all these new customer experiences in this brand new venue are going to pose a whole new variety of challenges, a whole new variety of opportunities for us, especially as a data team, when you think of all the new data sources we've got to deal with and ingest and analyze. And really for us, it's about making the customer, it's putting the customer first. One of our slogans at LW is to stage the extraordinary. That's what we want to do. We want to put the customer center stage, improve their experience as best we can. And I think now we're at the perfect position to use data more effectively to do that. And so with that, I'd like to end, and thank you all very much for your attention. I'm going to field questions here, but if you don't want to ask questions right now, I'm going to go and stand over in the Signature booth for the next sort of half an hour, so please feel free to come and talk to me. And also, we're actually hoping to hire a new head to our team relatively soon, so if anything I've been talking about excites you, is interesting to you, please come and shout out to me, come and have a chat, and we can talk further. But anyway, thank you for your attention.